Good morning, everyone. 다 먼저 여러스 로종으로 로종 이 랍자 된데나 좀 봐. 랍제 찍든데지요. 망베진 칼라데스. 와. 이 망베질레 this is 계좌 셔야들 다 외우고 잡스.
Larilla.
직부대도 심라데스. 어디 마마가 뭐 세라라 공발리라 당고.
Yeah.
네, 빈자 디저레 참바시. 딩알라. 뭐 이기디 땅에서. 근데 팬도 쇼죠라.
Ale. In the mind training teachings of Buddhism, we hear from one of the great yogis that when you're amongst others, you should guard your speech. But that when you're alone, you should watch your mind. And when I was in the monastery in South India in Sera, I had a letter from one of my relatives who is a meditator who said that this was really beneficial advice.
하다가는 저 지도나는 데도 계제 셔야지. 다나데 셔라. 계제 셔도 계제 셔과 셔 먹어 펜도면 저리죠. 마셔 셔라. 펜도 요거든 데도나 셔나. 다른 게 먼저 여기 녀도 망보지 녀로보다.
Yeah. And in that sense, with us in society, we need to take care around our speech. If there's something to say that's beneficial, that's okay. But if there's nothing beneficial to say, better to leave it. In that sense, just being aware of that, right there, that reduces a lot of problems.
다데네 das ist nahe Chibu dedu. And this is similar that way.
But when you're staying alone inside in your own space, you watch your own mind.
So the same day. So that 저런 만찰 내다 야고여와 와 내다 야고래서 치기 튼지 야고시다래서 와.
Yeah.
가서나 단다 디나라 이제서 좀 너무 파고라로 이제 시작으로
Yeah.
초라 얘기 동의돼. 다음에는 멤버는 루지소스라로 가서 내다 치기 패슬라디 야고연조 아니 지 벤조 야고연조 신 야고연조 안 내가 연조 아니 초고 연조 장마 치기 튼진 장마 연조 요 디즈릭들라 칼레요스나 싱그둥에디 망아여레스 제자디 다 사무다야 많다고요. 제자 지구도 됐으면 다서
Okay.
다다래도
So therefore, when you're alone, the point is to guard your mind. And in this sense, I know that all of you have a really good opportunity. Your external conditions are excellent, for practice. So that the great Arya Deva says that when facilities are good, wealth is good, education is good, work is good, friends are good, these outer things are all good. You have to take more care because these can be the conditions for suffering as well. So therefore, when you're alone, guard your mind.
장안아서 단다 등산다 셈기 강에 숙침부 차야도 가르쳤나 사무다에 많다고.
It seems to be that we're going through a period where there's more mental perturbance, more mental worry. Why is that? Because we're thinking too much.
대단 지구도 셈다 다 셈라 컨데스타고 그래서 셈 컨데스타고 그래서디 다 셈가 다단데라 아니 셈디 지 닝제 닝제 간다. 다 닝제 다 계생어만 내가서 닝제 거 먹고 쉐레 디링데 현재 가시 싸워도와 세상에서 닝제 써야 되다. 계속 뭐 소외나라. 계속 뭐 쇼레서 들어와. 닝제 미디 메제나 아주 닝제 요래서 닝제들 다르 마야치 닝제들 아주 소외나라. 배주 마체비나 아니 아주 메제디 칼레로 차르서 나 아주 메제 로그미 로봇 나시 차르서 간다. 배샤서 녀서 차르서. 로봇 배샤서 그다 띵사?
Yeah.
아니 아주 미디 닝제 요어디 배주 마제나 아주 로그미도 지구직냐 차르서다.
Right. So therefore, then the question is, how do you utilize the mind? We talked about thinking too much, making mental suffering. It's the compassion, isn't it? One needs to cultivate these higher states of awareness. And in the context of our life, compassion is very important. Whilst we humans have it potentially, we need to be able to foster it, cultivate it, and use it. Because if we don't use our potential compassion, we could be likened to robots that just go about our daily work for money, but without compassion, we're just like machines, isn't it?
제가 아주 다 로미래 야즈다 치오라다.
We can have that kind of power function.
제가
We're better.
제가 다 닝제랍디야. 그래서 뭐마 쉐버 닝제 써야 돼. 동해 천도 닝제다. 겸도 닝제 쓰니 용거래. 아주 망보질라. 랑슈게 셈제 밀라야. 동해다 수수 동해 통연데 동해 천도데 닝제데 용거래.
Yeah.
이나데 대상게 팽게요 말이다. 또 동해래 겸도게 닝제데 그거요래. 겸도게 닝제데 그거요다.
We have touched this point of compassion the last weeks. For those, again, that are new, 2 types of compassion. The first type is when you see other beings going through sufferings and difficulty, the thought comes for you, may they be separate from those sufferings. How wonderful it would be. But then there's a second level of compassion, even deeper, that is the resolve, I myself will free them from that suffering, takes a personal responsibility. So that surface level of compassion, just seeing other beings suffer, is not enough. We have to be responsible.
저는 데라 동해라 겸되게 닝지들라 그래서 닝 셔럽게 토고
So that second type of compassion, then, it has to have wisdom as its support, valid wisdom as its support.
제가 먼저 상상을 제가 다 셔럽의 요인은 아니 탑당 셔럽 송두되고 세요로 당연히 낭배게 최 부다고 지니네 탑신이 그거요래 탑신이 요인은 먼저 지우도서 쇼번이는 파주 프로젝트로도 대나시 탑시 쇼번이는 먼저 동해 내가 들려 타제 그래서 다 산제 먹고 거여로 네 산제에서 도고요래.
So from the context of Buddha Dharma, we talk about method and wisdom, a compassion and wisdom being together in union, being together in union. So like these are like 2 things to be practiced at once. Much like a bird needs 2 wings to fly, you need compassion and wisdom to traverse to liberation and be free from suffering. You've all probably heard of the state of Buddhahood, full awakening. To get there, you need compassion and wisdom.
다 저는 나나도 정말로 디 낭바 제마제딩에 두 유니식이 나 민낭바서야라 베전식 메스로 그래서 그만의 시기 주수 다 출루가리나 이슈이나리 가지나 출루디 주수 밤에 출루 다가란 채로 다스디 심게 먼저디 저연나라 강에 지태교로 릴레이션십 강에 태교래 심게 사무단 타임에 강에 지태교래 안에 지용기 단다지 베네 단다디 먼저 내ям디 소리지가 지 딘데게 강에 지태 딘데 카둘라네 낭베게 슝나네 사무단단게 랍자 당길로종기 지 망보지네 망외지 라 칼라데 지부도 디셈나 되사 간데 펜보더로 요와 도저 삼단기딩 설마 저기 제잖아
Ale.
안 저거 나라 펜도요도 나에 데 저랑도 데 마스스 네 장에 빼 망고 장 레스로 로뉴시 짠이 되지 장 레스로 단도영아 장게 예스로 장 사금도 스탠다로 데 차단 저랑도 랍데비나 아니 저랑도 랑에 헤덱스에 얘가 그래서 펜도요디 스스 소원을 날라 펜도요디 지금 랍샤비나 아니 저랑도 데 직 도나시 삼단이 되들라니 펜도 요레스로 베나딘데레 네 저랑도 칼라스야 레시피 때 레스로 레시피 나라케 데 아니 템나라샤 칼라마스위나 아니 저랑 칼라스야라고 말했어 지부지 야레스로 한데 직징이 암적으로 거와디 아니 양양이 아데 자와디 켄다 직든데 라서 산 직디 심내야 심 틸라 삼나다 그래서 소응을 나라 펜도도 문다 삼다다 아니 되네 라트여요. 되는 거네 다지 칼라 사비나 아니 좋아되다. 아무래도 주브레도 가래도 아니
Yeah.
하고 그래서 어디도 지부지 알아서 봐.
It is not my intention for everyone to become Buddhist, certainly not. One wouldn't push that, but we have our own persuasions. Some are of Christian background, Islam, according to one's parents. But what can benefit in the context of this life are these these things we go through in terms of our mind's experience. Some people have problems in relationships. Some people have too much thought. Then recently there's COVID. So I think in the context of Buddha Dharma, the advice of the mind training, it can really benefit that in this life, really benefit that. So for example, for myself, I have studied Nishisanirva, 22 years in depth Buddha Dharma. I'm still studying, but if I were to share that you'd share all of that with you, you'd get a headache. So I thought what's been of most benefit for me and would be most beneficial to interest you would be to make like a recipe, like a recipe that you would take home and you could cook food. But if you don't use the recipe, well, then you don't get to eat. So similarly like that, you might come home and think, oh, that monk, he says a few strange things. I wonder what that means. So when we come back to these words like, when you're in the presence of many people, to guard your speech, but when you're by yourself, to watch your mind, these can be beneficial for the context of your life, to introduce those, and then you'll get to taste, oh, this one is sweet, this one is sour. You'll get to know the taste of the food.
This is a happiness recipe. Happiness recipe. But pre-recipe, okay. You don't need to buy, okay. You don't need fancy substance, no need to buy
Ingredients,
no need to go to supermarket, okay, don't worry. Some people thought, he give recipe or this is very expensive, well, you can buy, don't worry that. You all substance you have, right? You have this all already have, you have. Just you make, right? 저는 소야 되면서 내가 요말에 창문 열었어.
Yeah, I mean, all you have to do is put it together. There's nothing missing. Nothing missing.
제가 배나 먼저 두슬라비나로 한다 먼저 두슬라비나 아니 당연히 망보이지는 칼라되었을라로 다 밀게지 쉐도 삽삽치고다 다 되나시 수녀야 되래요 고로 계절 년도 년고라 먹고 상만 년고야면도 등산 아니 뉴스 담는 얘기면 등산 뉴스도 페이지 얘기면 버전 단다 먼저 별다 별에게 건조 지 선주시에 있는데 둘다 다제 만년나나 좀 일리나다 신으로 지 둘다를 나라 테마틱 전이제 별에게 먼저 촉두체 둔다지 내주 촉두체네 벽에도는 시기도 안 시장 고다 어디니 대서 마신나네요 그래서 견자차 내가 여러 하는데 다 녀마 따과를 시기때 발라발라데 녀과 제면도 하시다 다 녀걸로 먹을 때는 많이 했다 지금 직ኛ랬다 암조 녀걸로 먹을 때는 많이 했어 아니 녀과에도 가르쳐나 아니 소소 지 셈나라 시디소니 아니 셈라야 시워데 계제던데 셈바나와 기부서야 된대 밀레야 포두메와 된대로 직 주시페나 남시 고로 칼라 고로 된대 셰드나 기부다 달레디 나자데 다 시람 계제데 마시나 야고다로
Yeah.
나자시야 백신 다 시에 말때 계제도 펜도 민도도 시에 딜레 남시 계제로 칼라스여로 된대로 아니 키도 근데 심이도 근데 그거 보야 게면더라
Yeah.
어딘데 계시잖아 아니 그 심로 뇌야다 게면도 디 지상 계제 년도 된데 거니 셰도 된데 셰데위나 아수수 셈나라야 직 셈데 때지 시와데 수수수수 갈래 된데 시와서도 그러라
Okay, so then these sayings then around, when you're in the presence of a big group of people, to guard your speech, meaning just to be careful what you say. But we could say on the receptive side as well, when you listen, is it really necessary to listen to the news all the time? Being careful about what you listen to. And in that context, from time to time, it's good. Personally, I listen to the news and the summary of the news like they have in Tibetan once or twice a week. Well, no, I don't need to hear it all the time. It would be strange if you completely detached and didn't have some idea of what was happening. But at the same time, do you really need it every day? Because, one has to be careful that the things that you listen to foster peace and happiness in your mind. Okay, so it's okay to listen about recipes, food, the weather. But to constantly listen to all this news about COVID and the vaccine, one really has to ask, is there much benefit in that? But these are lighter things like weather, the food, pets, cats and dogs. Cats and dogs. Maybe that doesn't harm the mind so much. So the point being made is, not only listening, but when you're speaking, guard the mind, that the mind is free of harm.
어디로와 저나다 셔럽 세다 개좀 쉬우지 자기요래 와 셔럽 닝지 셔럽 기초도 집에 닝지 세 저나다 닝지 세대 가래 동에 점들 동에 대화 등에 지기 있어야 들어와 뺐는데 나는 정말로 냠뇨 중요해서 봐 나는 정말로 알 하버 되지 보고 밤에 된대이나 아직 보고들 동해 스튜디오 동해들 대화 등에 지기
Yeah.
가르치고도 삼상 딜라 expectation 제요 말해봐 제 매베던 아디 네 부대 동해 진대 매워치는 디 약보 정할 게 가르치고도 써야지 결혼도 보고 봐와다 아마 진행도 zor라 디게 동해래 아니 좀되게 닝제다 좀되게 참바 니니가 냠뇨 요래서 와 베세고 요래서 결혼들 와
Yeah, Gisela. So in that context, one needs wisdom. Wisdom is important, but one needs to have the compassion with wisdom as its support. Of course, that level of compassion that is going to take a personal responsibility. I myself will bring it about. I'll do it. We have experience of that. Those who are parents with children, when the children go through difficulty, there's no agenda from the parents' side. What's in it for me? They are totally there for the children. It's clear. So that type of love and compassion, affection.
다 당연하죠. 보고 매번 나가도 있네. 냠뇨 요래서 간들래로. 야 인지민지기 겸대닝지 별로도 바보다 아마 이거 듣게 좀 말해. 말에 부가 말에 냠뇨 요래. 그런 상황은 냠뇨.
But that wouldn't negate the fact that I have experience too, even though I don't have kids. You don't have to be a parent to have the type of compassion that goes deeper. I kind of have some idea.
And in India, I heard my mother was sick, and I have this some compassion, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like doing you the coding. 아직 동해들 타와딩에 가르치고도 당아 가르치고도 배드 수수 심 띵네 직 레기도 봐. 어디래?
When I heard of my mother's sickness, I was in India, she was in Tibet. From the depth of my heart, I felt, what can I do to alleviate my mother's suffering?
배전 별로파 도고면서 조지체 영어로.
Even like getting ready to go back to Tibet, getting the mind ready.
조지 팀마 컨시체 당한 도근이 있어.
Yeah, a couple of times I was on the edge of going.
제가 어디 닝지디 좀 되는 닝지들이야.
This is the compassion that goes deeper. How about doing something about it personally?
제가 당한서 미수수수수라 아니 가시에게 수수 가워든 데라 동의들이야. 동의들 저거든 예측이 있어 된대요. 가시에 수수 바월이요. 가시에 수수 기겐라요. 가시에 수수에게는 이제 grandparent 된데라 제가 먼저 미상말라야. 이게 냠뇽데 요를 내단데데 라면다 지로.
Well, all of us might have different experiences around that with people, those we love dearly. Parents, teachers, some people might feel that sense of responsibility with grandparents. It differs for us.
제가 다디 다디 간데 중도 생각서 뒤돌았다. 먼저 사무당 거다. 곰자고 뒤돌어.
Now, we have to reflect. How does that come about? We said we need to meditate on it.
당에 뒤도 상당히 다 당보들에 다 방마 아마 수술을 편도요 들어와. 세부 휴자하고 당데. 다디 김전지를 그랬어.
The first reason I bring to mind is how the parents have helped oneself, benefited. So clear, this reason.
진짜 먼저 디 하고 치고 그래서 디 수수 다 가시에게 알레 수술에 닝지다 두고요 말이야. 밀레 닝지 파다 주샤네.
Yeah. So it's very important to be able to introduce or recognize this first point. Even before that, some people don't even have a compassion towards them own self. How can they have compassion for other?
제가 수수 동일에 껴봐도 수수 최고를 봐.
So in that sense, one is responsible from protecting oneself from one's own suffering.
다디 양때스 김니때스 맨다도 그래요. 수수 동에 요듯이 아디 동에다 대화디 딜로 김전 신다시로 그래. 디 김전 가려서나 딜라다 말든데지 고고도 세지로 가 동에도 동에 매베 내가지 고고도 최장에다 나랑 동에디 세고도 스티야 티야 당기던 김전때스 자고 말해요. 자고도.
Yeah, so this reason that wanting to be free from one's own difficulty or suffering situation is a little bit different from the former. The reason is you don't want to experience those problems.
디 페이지에 시디 타르바단 되어요래.
Because this wish for oneself to be free from suffering, it's like you're going for the bliss of your own nirvana, isn't it? Your own liberation.
먼저 낭배시나 타르발라기요래. 디 타치 코디오시나 동에메베 내갑직다 고고요래. 나랑 띵안도 상마 되고요 봐. 우리 수수 동일 삼당데 수수수술라 닝지 답이 나야. 되게 장배 미유라데 수수 동일 미유인데 수수 동에다 대와 타와 시바 어딜라 미기요래. 미유디 두비아치디 하나 동에 매버지 속이 인스데 띵안도 상마게 삼로데 땅거요래서와 이내양 먼저 삼무당 거요래들래 먼저 액션디 로갈 두고요래스
Action will go, right?
액션디 동행 유소고요래.
Yeah. So in the Buddha Dharma, we talk about the state of liberation that is completely bereft of suffering. We all want that. Well, if you just want that personally, you have compassion for yourself in the sense that your focal object is your own freedom from suffering, which would be a state of liberation where the mind is completely at peace. Then you think about going for it. But the second point is, in our actions, instead of going for it, we create the cause for the opposite. We create the cause for more suffering.
네, 제세신 뭐 시월에 된데서다 동해 텐데 로야 동해니 랑바죠 대화도 전 때문에 란지 대화다 좀 상저 동해를 텐데 로 요레스
Yeah.
이나야 아니 동해 텐데 동해니 랑바죠스데 안저게 동해 텐데 로 요레스 상저 동해 되고요 말했어요 상저 디지 되고요 요레스 이나야 안저 룽아게 자와데 가래가는 두고 어렸으나 동해기 주소야 가는 두고 요레스 제자 안에 동해기 주소는 동해디 되고로 하고 디용고 요레스다
Shanti Davis says that although we beings wish to be free from suffering, somehow we rush to create the causes for it. And although we wish to have bliss, mental bliss, we destroy the causes like an enemy. So that first one, we want that freedom from suffering, but we are creating the causes for it unknowingly.
자 대화 되잖아. 팀을 랑이 대화 다다 좀서. 다 대화 되고 요래. 아니 디무 미시베 온게 아니 랑게 대외 중원에데 다나시 좀 잘했어.
And although wanting permanent mental bliss out of ignorance, we destroy the causes like an enemy, like an enemy destroy your own cause.
대외 규조 그래. 심지신은 닝지 심지신은 참바고미야 돼. 대외 규유나면은 지난다. 항상 디지라 담만다 요래로 항상 지 차시 망보 요래로 당에 랍상 되게 차상 랍이나 저나서 헤드 차그래서 아야던데 내가 차차 로 다 레시피 나게 내가 차자 되게
main ingredient troubleshoot. Yeah. So then if we ask what is the cause for mental bliss, it's really compassion directed towards other living beings, isn't it? But this term deki in Tibetan, or permanent mental well-being, has so many levels. As I mentioned before, that could be headache material if I go through them all, but distilling the most important ingredient of that happiness, right?
난 닝지 미션라 닝지 당 동해 점도 닝지 다 뒤다연데 다 배나 저 잠링 시딜랍데 캡처무로 오더라 미 7 빌리언 간도 오여라 아니 뉴질랜드 미차장 저 시디 소토고 말아 봐 신다 파샤는 저 소다레 미차장 저 시디 소토고 말아 다 마마마 삼단데 신다 파샤는 수수 낭미디게데 수수 시디 소토고 만도 알아 다 신다 파샤는 수수 시디 소토고 만도 알아
So coming back to the source of permanent well-being, happiness, it is compassion. First the thought, may they be free of suffering, then the thought, I myself will do it, responsibility. Well, can you really do that for 7 billion beings? Can you bring it about for others? Can't really cause other 7 billion beings on this planet to have that ultimate well-being. What about the 5 million people in New Zealand? Can you cause them to be peaceful? Probably not. What about in the South Island? It's unlikely. Bring it back to your family. Can you cause your family members mental peace? And then bring it back to yourself. Can you make mental peace for yourself?
다 지난저 지난저게 콤바트 한 곳에 쉬지 잡사라 싫어. 지난저 사제 델레레스로 다 나투브레스로 이나 말아야 된대게 똑바다 냠네 된대게 요라가메스로 이나 말아야 레시피 리네지야 쉬지 예스라.
And you guys have kind of made a first step to come here. You've met me. I have no great realizations, but the recipe I have is from a wonderful lineage.
제가 지난저 들라고라. 지난저 company 도서 노요 말했어. company 딱다야.
So you've kind of reached the correct company. Right, now that is a big point, just that.
디 개점벌에 돼 수수지 곰자야지 디 노르사지로 도나 뺏사라
Yeah, no, this is because if one is starting out to meditate, one doesn't want to make a mistake at the outset.
딩사 때 섭섭치 메시지 가시에게 로숨 참데 가시 아마 나와지 코스트는 아니 밀라고도 와 되스리도 빼년가 첨버래
Yeah.
먼저 곰바이나 로종에 제일하면서 밀랍 초고요 말아 로종에 제일 신도 기록돼 그러면서 요 말아 로종에 게 기록하나 되고 말아 먼저 곰발 삽디 개점을 쉬우지 되고요 뒤에 배낭아 당공에만 하기 괜찮아야 밀라야 돼 나라 삼로도 꾸는 매로 나는 그 공백이 따제신 따처럼 기겐 치고 그랬을 때 상말로 기겐 치주고요 말이야. 먼저 된다는 미든지 통하여라. 미든지 통하는 단다 민가 기게래. 하고서다 돼. 민가를 메시 기겐 떼요 말이다. 그 등산 가래. 아 온라인 코스체 안 남산라고도. 가시 리트리 니마 주 리트리도 라고도. 다 되지 된대라 도나 저런서 빼년가 첨버래. 재산 저런서 도서 넣어요 말라 줌진들다야.
The reason I'm saying you haven't made mistakes is that one needs to be careful. There are kind of people that say, oh, if you do this kind of 3-year retreat or even like a 1-month retreat, you'll get such and such a result. But in reality, when we were in the monastery, we would wait 15 years to even look if we were ready to go towards that type of commitment as being a teacher for students. I myself not even had a motivation to teach. And then amongst my class, 75 in my class, only 5 of them ended up being teachers. So there is a kind of a caution here when you do these kind of like online courses that promise something or a 10-day retreat. Just a caution here. Yeah, so why? Because we're training our minds, and when we start out to train our minds, we have to start off on an unerring path.
아니 당저 딜라고 있는데 닝지게 콤바자야 당보디 셰럽게 투어지제네 그런서 냠뇽데 갈라서나 닝지 검단데라 탈로 망보지 예외 난게 아니 준대명아 düün세저로 다 당고 디시샤로 이나 고 슝다 따다 두고요래로
And cultivating compassion is an extremely important method, but it needs to have wisdom or valid mind as its support. So there are many methods to cultivate compassion, but one of the supreme amongst us, the 6 causes and 1 effect.
당보 샘진신 당보 땅뇽다야 되면서 그래서 샘제 탐제 땅뇽됐다. 당보 땅뇽데 샘 차냥 보시소 그래서.
Now the first point is before we even start training in compassion to have a heart of equanimity to all living beings, a non-bias.
Now
just that, if you have just that, your attitude not biased to any living being, so much benefit. Yeah. One don't have to go far to practice this. The beings you live with right on the spot, they are your teachers. They are your teachers. If the ones close to you complain or get on your case in terms of mind training, best teacher possible.
Sometimes they give you a lost ball and you can say, thank you, teacher. 제가 내 당보들라 미디 거기는 수준이 미리에서 봐. 네 미리에서 나도 지고서 아니 미인 받지 거서. 당보들 상신 거서.
that first point then, that person is human just like me. Base point.
니버디 아니 비조디 nga dewa dewa nashi 비조디 dewa dewa 직버레스 예 직버직야레스.
Second point, just like I want to be happy and do not want to suffer, this person also wants to be happy and doesn't want to suffer exactly the same.
세상 수수 동에 미되어 나시 내 로고데 동에 되고요 망니 직버직야레스. 땅뇽 루도데 땅뇽 루도다.
Here, just as you don't want to experience problems and sufferings, they are like in kind, exactly equanimous in that sense. Isn't that the same?
이제 디니니데 셈나라야고 여웨이나 아니 오늘 내주 망보지 그랑슈게 뉴르 도그레스와.
Right, and just getting that point from the outset as a basic constraint, just automatically problems start to calm down.
다데네 숨바데 가래 시바데 가래서는 다시 숨바 작은데 시바 작은데 다데 미디 수술라 팬도 가져이미 다데네가 전부 시오래. 당아 네 삼로 빼만 거 당겨.
Yeah, and this third or fourth points that how those beings have benefited you, helped you. This is a big point, and I've given this a lot of thought.
데르데나 데요나 아니 미피조데 수술라 팬도 여바디 하고요인데 아니 대화 사고요 싱그도와.
Yeah.
팬토데 대화 사고요 하고다.
Yeah. So when you reflect deeply on how the ones close to you have benefited you, it's like you have a new connection. You understand the connection deeper.
다 데라 삼노단단 탑람탐 만다여르와 탑람다 만다여레스.
Well, there are so many methods to cultivate that.
sometimes I have some connection, some student, and they're very sincere talking their relationship, you know. My partner, they're making lots of problem, you know, all the time making problem. It's just you know, sometimes small things, you know, all the time same, they're never changing. Sometimes they complain, you know. Sometimes me ignoring
Yeah, ignoring
me, and sometimes a little bit yelling. It's wonderful. This, you know, one thing is you don't have loneliness, you know. This is making lots, you know, something there. No, you don't have loneliness feeling, isn't it? Some benefit there. And another thing is you know need another entertaining, you know. This is good entertaining. You never bored. bored, right? 저라 요구 말해서 그 challenge 요라.
You never get tired or bored because the challenge is there.
다 이나야 디 마한다데 저나서 가시 다가 타야지 깔라카도 लग다. 딘델리인데 다 삽사지 그러면서 야고요.
Yeah, but then if it's too much, you guys will say, well, it's so exhausting. Then you have to take care around that. Yeah, when that starts to come, you have to start to introduce other methods. Other method.
I have some friend, and they says, "Oh, my partner, I never put clothes on the laundry all the time, leave everywhere, and they are all the time talking. Please put it in the laundry. They're never walking. You know, I'm tired like that. Maybe some people are exactly this situation. You can say next time you pick up he or she's clothes. Thank you very much. This is give opportunity me. Please next time you put more here." Yes, you can say like that. And making joke, you funny, you know. And you can put there he or she saw put there in laundry. And next time you can put more here. And you can say like that to opposite, you know. Don't say don't put there. I don't like that. Don't say like that. Okay, you are very wonderful. You put there one cloth. I can put there. Good exercise for me. It's making joke and they easy very clear give their message, you know. And then try to all the time same like that. And you this there were cause nedan the judo song.
Yeah.
And they jing ne and 피조기 삼로시 당그로 다디라고 레미도사 아니 삼로시 당제 아니 다다 열다고 디 사이콜로지로 다 사이콜로지 도요.
Acting like that could create the condition for change, and there could be something to laugh around. And then the other party might think, maybe something there.
We have a monastery. Our house, 27 monks. I think there are 2 or 3 monks, and they never washed their cup, all the time. They're eating and throw it, And there's some monks say, oh, this is not really good, some blah 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 blah, and we have routine, 1 week, yes, 1 day is cooking routine, something like that. And then this first monk cooking returned him, all plates there. They're not cleaning. And then after debate, and I have some time, and I go to the kitchen, I clean, and he's coming, and he said, what are you doing? Oh, thank you very much, give me opportunity service for the monk, and next time you put more, please, I said like that. And next day he never put change. This is working. Yes. Before everyone keep complaining, oh, he's no good, he's lazy. Then he put more attention, Everyone keep complaining, he put more attention, live there, voluntarily live there, And then he said, oh, I may wash maybe 10 times, I think 10 times, no, only 1 time, 10 times. One day he saw and he said, before someone washed this routine plate, did you? Yes, I did. I said, thank you very much. Give me opportunity, making more merits, making more merits. This is true. My teacher taught, if you want wisdom, you need service for social monk or similar this community. Service bathroom. I did lots wash bathroom. This reason I had a little bit of wisdom. I think mind makes more happy, cleaning like that, and solving in the keja.
Yeah, to sweep, to clean.
keja. Nga gigen odi lapson. Sedan nge dagasi kolaya tachi. Jubodoya di ngala di rewad mesrwa. Tangala chi sonam sa na. Ani mi kurang keja mangbo laya di mena yabuto sra. Keja bala laya mangbo di kona jumindo samalo. Di nga tuzo na nga du shagi wa, zangma sui shagi wa. Ani 저 개민도 저 배저 칸에 저기 달리 두시는 되더라. 배저 칸에 저기 달리 두시네. 개민도로 와. 제가 디제도 네배 펜도 쉬어도 다데 단저 가서 니즈 친주된데 툭되고 알아. 제가 친주된데라 툭되기도.
Yeah. So that this is something my teacher kind of taught me in terms of creating merit to serve the community. I didn't want to say much to that monk. I made the decision to clean by myself. Okay. So when I was cleaning, I was reciting the teachings of the scriptures. But what happens in our case is just a small condition can blow up into something of a big deal.
저선 대유나 아니 relationship 당 내주 망보직 타주 자로더라.
Yeah, and that can stress a relationship if those things build up.
내가 어딘데 열다디 가난서 소외날 미담만 두고래. 아니 표조 내단 대강서 신고래로 하다 전원서 대 용바되게 당저 지 셈라 시워제다 셈 단데 랩드 베 비지리 샤스다 녀그다 망보지도 데메베 지 고무지 잡제 지 시워지다 지우지 삼바 대워지 템보지 용야라 레와디 체 주워지 당하게 삼로 요어데 빼야 버려서와.
And in the context of your life, you're going to meet a lot of people. I know that you want mental peace, but oftentimes you're very busy. And in the context of that, meditation is good for, like the bliss of mind. So on that note, shall we sit together?
It looks too much blah blah, no? 예. 다 곰디 꿀론디 곰시켜라. 드링 룽하게 저칸 제바디 다 탐제. 마 틱틱틱 라오 주란도 야 렌드 치셔와서 드링 룽하게 저칸 저 샘제신나 편바 바식 치기 인사드냐 마 지금 견제 대커시 사와카시도 아니야데 틱디 로르 신샤나 아니 야고요래 틱디 로르요나 아니 ton다 삼노다 아니 디네 칼레라도 야고요래
First, we'll do an intention or a motivation so that the actions of our body and speech benefit others. And as I normally say, and some of you will have heard, may all the actions of my body, speech, and mind only benefit others. If you memorize that from time to time, it can help.
Please repeat after
me.
Today all the actions
of
my body, speech, and mind
will
only benefit others.
Today
all the actions
of
my body, speech, and mind
will only benefit others.
Today all the actions
of
my body, speech, and mind
will
only benefit others. That's a seminary Tarsum Josik, and it's the Tandal Samadajas.
Now gently close the eyes and recite it again 3 times inwardly, reflecting on the meaning therein.
다 그는 둘벌 시점나 상상 지난주 저와 참고해야 다 들은 내가 그러면 샘바상 보치기 상타가다나 디그래.
Making a condensed motivation when you're busy. Today, I will have kind motivation towards others.
다 담자. 다 드링 내가 내주 양이 돈이 가래 코바이나를 퇴바이나를 통화이나 가래는 샘바상 보디. 가디나 르당미 샘바상 보치도 치기서 니켈린 쪽으로 해서
Now making the resolve, whatever comes up, good or bad, whatever I hear, whatever I see, whomever I meet, I will not relinquish the good heart.
아이 다 가와곰 당나한테 내 셈바 누가 첨부지 디링하라 셈든지 요 전제 가와곰 요 요르다 저런 상황은 상말로 요래서 봐 요버도 하고 봐진다 가와곰 그래서
Now, rejoicing, recognizing one's mind has that potency. Well, we all have it, isn't it? That's a reality. Rejoice in that. Recognize it.
아이 당도 롱종인다 비딩 엑서사이즈로
Mm-hmm.
아니 개버드 중국어데 나고니니야 우슈 제텐로 오렌지 링보지 투 당겨요 파 당겨요 셰바 디스테이션
Now, breathing exercise, check your posture is straight and long breath in through the nostrils, long exhalation out through the nostrils. Just placing the mind there, being aware of that. Gently close eyes.
다 통하지. 주당 파당 시바시. 다 딜 미당 그래서 봐. 우주 당 파당의 학교에서는 안에 장가점의 진이 숨시냐 장가. 잡다는데 장가 진이 숨시 진이 숨 숨겨 되네 참 샤는 셈데 다다와 가나. This stage asra.
Now, making the inhalations and exhalations quicker or more shallow, gently open the eyes. And once you have the focus of the breath, begin to count. So breathing in and breathing out, that's one round. We do three rounds of that, 3 inhalations, 3 exhalations. And we do that 3 times. So 3 by 3 makes 9. At the end of those 9 rounds, you just rest in the present moment. Observe mental peace.
어이 다양게 장가 찍네 제 주사고야 저. 줄 레스나나 장가 아니 주네마 시시 구제스마 저. 찍을 레스나. 아니 센디 가가 데신 다다와 디가나 가가 데스테쇼스.
Now, counting the rounds from 1 up to 10, and then going back down 9, 8, 7, back down to 1. And when you get back down to 1, just resting the mind in the present moment, observing the peace of the present moment.
Oh yeah. 달흘을 제지 디시 아스킨스 곰 야구 제거도스.
Now we can relax. The sitting seems to be going well.
곰 잡나 somebody 지워 쓰고도 right.
Yeah, it's true, no? When you sit quietly, you can find some mental peace.
다 수수수수 쌤 시워체다 두스레 삼로당제 제야레미시지 요마다로.
Yeah, and you know, cultivating one's own mental peace is through one's own reflection. There's no other way.
다 딜레야 꿀론디 방법 꿀론 당긴가서다 꿀론 신비의 꿀론데 개좀 쉬어래데.
And in that context, to have a motivation towards others, very important.
내가 가르치고 있네. 그래서 저런서 내가 가르치고 있는 리고래라. 내가 가시에다가 내가 제 배샤치디 디 냠nen도 말에 딘데 말에 한 내가 지에 다가라 냠nen도예요. 다가라래.
And you know, whatever work you engage in, such an intention towards others would be good. It should not just be for money. The work itself is it.
먼저 냠nen세에 가르쳐나 편도시애들 밀 편도시애들.
When we talk about practice, we talk about benefiting other beings.
미래 지조래 딱 도스 심진래 튼도래 딘데라 니 코유래 지조래 거 편도시애버들라 냠nen스겨 다들.
We talk about benefiting humans, the environment, the beings that inhabit the environment, the different types of beings, the world. This is the practice.
배나 저랑서 가시 근데 수화마게 되다. 근데 내가 지금이나 근데 배 내가 두서 배디 잘라 디 칼라도 뒤져 연결다. 근데 리다. 아니 이거는 지난다 제 저거야만 상상을 누구로 받는데 아니 민데 투인데 지 개먹게네 베넬랜드도 지 계제시 지 야구 지에 열어다 간다.
Yeah.
내가 지금 때 밀래 남주 야구 시대인지 지 지에 열어 봐. 지도에는 바로부터 가보용 거로 봐. 다 추에 다그라로 하고 봐.
For example, if you're doing a particular job, like in a supermarket, you have to pay attention, of course, to the job. But when you're interacting with others and connecting with them, having a smiling disposition, having a laugh, you know, that is there. That is it right there.
Not taking too serious, okay. Need a little bit of relax. Not too relax, okay. Too relax not good. I need balance. And then the breathing exercise did Jansen's comjatuna be away or restaurant.
To cultivate the breathing exercise continually, meditation is very good.
And then the tangajas to the chamber dembosea tapsi yakshudeta.
And the latter method we used of counting the breaths is the best method for stable mind. Let's say stable recall.
The mutuja javena, low chamber chadu, chamber demo menjog another to the league marada.
And if you continually practice those types of meditation as you get older, you won't get diseases associated with forgetfulness. It's a big deal these days, right? Forgetting.
Modern medicine is chambala shivjinu.
Yeah, it seems sometimes the modern medicines have a counterproductive effect to our memory sometime.
And then same kaduina tadawa 돼야 되다 개좀 쉬우래.
And then, of course, whenever you know, always being in the present moment with the mind, important.
다 다리 둔다 되랑서 니 셰럽게 도와제제. 아니 닝지야제 다데 수수 틀레니 미데 당분간이 미임바지바. 되기는 저도 도사래. 그래서 엄마 도사래.
Yeah.
아니 대화대화 찍바 동해 미대와 찍바 데라 고미양 야양야양야 삼나타 다 담아들 미팅 알아 팬 가서 도구도 대 하고 전으로 뒤에 가는 삼는 망보다요다
this week then we should think that we're cultivating a compassionate attitude to others with wisdom as our support, in the sense that that person is a human just like us. They have the same wants as us in terms of wanting to be happy, not wanting to suffer. And this third point, how those others have benefited oneself, that's very important to think on this again and again.
다 될라 뭐스 단단하면서 팬도 제바다 봐 아니 저 로바 제바다
Ale.
어느저 미신이데 밀레 로바 거래서 봐 로고면은 아주 대투고요 말이다 로고요
No, you know, the direct way others have helped and supported us, we humans, we need that support. Without the support of others, we cannot survive.
아니 매제나나 강의 때때 연구를 해서 봐 강의 때에서 연구다 람상 지카가시에다 근데 상로 마당스러 봐 강의를 동련체는 더 그랬어
And then in this life, difficulties will come. Don't be overwhelmed by it. You have to have a kind of courageous, being able to bear it approach.
Not only your relationship, your work, start, meditation, everything through.
Yeah.
Meditation not easy. Practice not easy. Not easy. You need to put more attention. And then work, you know. Nowadays, not easy. Our society is lack of compassion, lack of kindness. People too much looking materialism, right?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, the tendency to just be material oriented, you know, just fixate on material things is strong now. Yeah, and society's gone. But whether we ourselves can cultivate compassion in that society is in our own hand.
This is this 먼저 소도거래. 수수 닝제당 곰잡제. 아니 대지 직다 대지 펜도치야당 대지 효율도야당 강의태도 동련시에 된데시 대지 교도이나 수수 낭미에서 그래. 등산처럼 대지 교도샤로. 제가 가르치기요. 엄마한테 대지 되면 엄마처럼 내지 튼튼튼들 저랑 남산 콘도사거든요. 다단단 내지 튼튼들 저랑 콘도사거면도 저랑 가르치기요. 라거든요. That is loud.
This is something we can do. We can work on cultivating compassion. We can meditate. We can help others. And in that, there might be more relaxed state of mind. And then when difficulties come, we can take it. And then if you practice like that in a sustained way, there might be a small change in you, not like before, when a slight thing irritated you, and this time you'll be relaxed, and your friends might say, "Oh, you used to get upset so easily. What's happened?" Then you can say, "Well, I've tried meditation." You might be able to introduce that. Yeah, and then there's like an opening to at least share the benefit of meditations.
저랑 곰자슬로 도래 근데 라고 말해서 나 도베니 나 곰제기요 땅 알라 편도 도 데랍샤샤고
But the warning you don't say to them, you know, meditation is great, you have to go, you have to do it. You know, leave that pushy attitude. That's not going to work.
You can try. I'll do this. I'll do this. This reason I have benefit. You can tell your experience, share them. You already give them message. And then I went there, and this is very helpful for me life, you know, some talking like that more. You know, if you have benefit, you can say benefit. You don't have benefit, I don't want to go there, I don't have benefit. It was sincere, you know. This monk making me tell me the wisdom. I don't want to go there, you know, you can say like that. Yeah. If you benefit, hey, I went there 2-3 times, huge benefit to me, you know. I met some people, you know, there's some benefit. They're taking seriously, listening what they're talking. they benefit, and also they benefit their parents. Some little bit influenced, right? Influence their parents. This is helps our society, This helps out. This is very. I think this is very. We can do that, right? We can do that, right? 델라다 쉬우쉬우 차지만 오시라고 하면 더 수수치야래도 하고,
Yeah. In that sense, you don't need like a lot of things. This is coming from oneself.
다 내내 당길 랍상하데 심지어 두 상황 가서 알라 팬도 쳐야 되거나 삼노다나 안지랑서 지때서 두 상무 때 땅나 야고요래 겨워가지도 상무 때에서 신나 등고요 내주는 레와
Okay.
두서 신배나 두서들 wisdom다 셔럽 제 셔럽디 제지고라마 되버지 파데스 갸체서 상무 땅배이나 아니 겨워가지 쓰니데 여기 여 타저래 다간다로 여두장가라 디지 하고 배이나 쉬어져다 편도 전부 쉬어져라. 왜 편도 전부.
So then in that context, then, this third point about thinking how beings have been kind and how benefited you, you can take that deeper. It's important to take it deeper past the context of just this life. In reality, the wisdom of reflecting on past lives is there. And the wisdom you're going to cultivate just from thinking around the constraints of this life is limited. But past lives is almost like, well, that's just the nature of things. It's important.
If you understand in past life, and then you have lost your common and caution, answer coming yourself. For example, sometimes you met some people, you have strong feeling. I met this long time, but you never met this life before. You never met. You have feel, I met this person. You're feeling very close. You are really relaxed. Where has it come from this? This question. You need to answer. We need to answer. Who made this? Where has it come from that? This is the answer. Give your past life. You have strong connection. This person. And sometimes your parents very hard relationship, you try to pass, but go there, and because then the psychologist because this members do because labja jani because timing because 먼저 labja jani 된대요. 미 labja jani 된대. 그 미를 가서 근데 labja jani 된대요.
Oh, yeah.
미니 대화 메디 엔 데라 가자 디밀리 제 사러 인질 로 랍제냐니죠 디밀리 가자
Counselor, psychologist.
counselor. And you go to a counselor try to better relationship, but it doesn't work, where's come from this? Because you pass a bad relationship. This result coming there, you making lost problem there, then you're coming there, coming back, then you this may have past love relationships. Now finish. You need to appreciate, then this benefit you, sometimes just we thinking here, the long term look, long term picture, then makes big, okay, then you a little bit relaxed, okay. Just on the share of the tundu질 되면 share of the yeah, some 다른 ring royal. 뒤에나 단대 강에 두서 뺐디. 렐 하우지가 세트고요. 삼단단지 세트고요. 와.
The wisdom should not be narrow. The wisdom has to have a very vast view, a vast approach. And if you can have that vast approach, the sufferings are reduced, the troubles are less.
No, then you think, this is problems. I think my past life, I did something wrong or bad. We call bad karma, bad karma, right? But you can say, this is my bad actions, past life. This is results finished. Then you need to rejoice, one bad karma result finished. That's good. Usually we think, I am suffering, I don't like that. Now you completely different thinking, same situation, you have different thinking, then you have more joy, you have more relax, Usually we do very tired to holding there, 디제자 겨왕아지디 ngaral ne pendo sheudo zro nge mi sutubo ina aje da ding ngaral 겨왕 아마데 ngaral 파마치 뉴요레서 심딩네 ngangma 밀 깨지시엘라 최고 쇼예 와 깨지시에 백하고요 다단디 겨왕아지게 삼로도 직심는 이질레인데 셔빈다 미수토보다가 수수 낭미토보다 아직 딩가 낭미지래요 수수 셈나라 딜레기도 안 되제도 아니 더 홈식 데 페이지 메어로 차로 딩에 홈 차로다 나는 낭미지 투어다 되기도 왔다
This reflection on past lives has really helped me. The thought deep from the heart that this could be my parents. You know, I used to have so much difficulty to open up to people, to talk to people. But now, having reflected deeply on the past lives, when I interact with others, I can really think, oh, this is like my family member that I'm talking to. And in that sense, I don't get homesick as much.
And then I don't have sometimes we don't have class. Sometimes 1 week my house nobody coming, only me. And some people think, oh, Geshe-la, do you have loneliness? I don't have loneliness because I have friend, 3 dogs, those birds. This is my fatherless, my family. Dog all today morning going quack, ducks, It's they're talking there. But food is a little bit expensive.
Too big.
I feed them. And my motivation is, I don't know dog eating bugs or killing. I don't know, but and birds love eating insects, right?
Insects.
I feed birds, and they have less violence. This reason my motivation is helping for birds. I feed birds, and birds stomach full, and then no killing, and they're less karma. This is my practice. Some to do like that, simple, very simple. Makes you happy, makes benefit them. But I don't have motivation making me happy, But it's there happy, 어떤 데로 와고 내지 충분한 데로 먼저 뒤에 남매 단계로 와. 뒤 개천 보러 왔는데 세두나 아니 레르와 당하나서 데레로 와다 겨와라 타요 말에 지란저 간저 능미 체벌로 참가요 말 가는서 디제 창마 능미 체베 딱 참가 잡에 있나 간저 능미직 체베 참가 잡에 있나 참가 코란 티야요 말 간저 디나리 이거지도 지금 참가 제야 된 간저 참가 잡에 있나 간저 능미직 체베 루지 마 참가 잡에 있나 참가 티야 코란 요 말다 가을랬어네 근데 저 직 셈난데 쇼지 디 파여치야 요 말에다 여치야 요 말 간저
Okay. So it's the small things we can do to relate to others as family members. It's important, isn't it? If we really trace our mind streams back, there's no beginning to the mind. There's no beginning to the family members we've had. We couldn't count the time that each of us has been each other's family member. You can't even fit that in the mind.
We this group, we family, we've been same family with someone counting countless. Then we are lucky now we met here. Again coming like there connections coming like that. Those you do any kind of some bet
Yeah, if you reflect like that, the mind can change. Attitude. It's clear that one needs wisdom.
Then you can learning. For example, your job have relationship problem, your relationship problem. Parents, sometimes parents laws struggling here, everywhere in the world. And then you have situation bad. You can take this your practice. You try to best. You don't try to make it more problem. You can do more. Do your best. We usually do we best. 그리고 수수기 아니 저와 지말에 녀도 마요야. 저와 야구 소그랬다. 레 야구 소그랬다.
Yeah. One does one's best to make the future life condition very good in terms of the karmic interactions in this life.
저는 딩 안한줄라고 요르다.
That's in our hand.
퓨처에 딩 안줄라고 요래.
Future life in our hand.
다 같이 대변이 삼모모 땅도 다들 배줘요. 다땅 말했다. 샤시스.
There are those who completely revolve on the past all the time. Leave it, no benefit, leave it.
I have there some mantra, past is history. Forgot, Past is history. History is just gone. History, mystery. Future is mystery. Don't think too much future, okay, mystery. You live present moment. Past is history, future is mystery. You live here. 아유, 어디 dinere 제가 아무지 대변이지 사사로다. 삼모 이나양 그수 냠뇽나 삼모 당초거래로. 녀망한테 내주 dinde질라 강내든데 쳐서 디 주딘 카르도 디 삼직다. 근데 주진다 다 디체는 디용고도 dinde라 스스 practice 시야간라 대변이지도마 experience 레나 야고요래로. 디 멤버체 당에 망아도 자든데 중성하는데 다디 편제 더 말 삼마다스디로.
So, being aware that the past is gone, but you don't negate your experience because you reflect that when you went through difficulty, there were causes and conditions behind it. So because of this came to be. So in that sense, your past is experiential. But to worry about the past, leave that. There's no benefit.
다 디네다 다리 둔다 되는 저는 어디서 곰도스 데스잡 아니 롭종 데스시 이 규단견 좋아 먼저 상마 규단견을 되는 총으로서 롭종 시야도 들었다 와 지교도고 요래 상마 교도고 요 리얼리티로 먼저 리얼리티 신고로다 먼저 교도고 요래 교도에 대 가리도고 그래서는 규단견을 되는 교도고 그래서 어디 신고 당부 대신고래서
The coming week it is good to meditate, it is good to study that things are the result of cause and conditions. All things change. This is a reality. This is a reality we have to introduce. Everything's subject to change.
다 저런 망고지 배진 로 산이마 준다다 망고 레고도 로 망고 레도 되로. 다 저런서 띵 사브르데스 장통랑 예제메 로 사원을 사다월라 진짜 사워지 소나한테서 등에도 스터디데 콘즈미카시에다 베 로페진 다 롱아 툭 드윈데 산이마 진짜 용고요래. 근데 더 전화서 띵 사브르테스 도 장해야 되다. 인지미지 낭바 채우 말해요. 내가 낭바 치시라고 매다. 근데 세비시시 장해야 띵 사브르테스 도베이나. 네 저런서 로제메 사다오 진짜디 믹스해지. 저는 직 소나한테서 둔다 둔지 막 코스터지 세비니 저런서 저는 띵 사브르테스 장토베이나. 죄송아. 저런서 이제 메타게 되기 전에 야고요 레스로.
There are some of us who've been coming to the Sunday classes steadily for some years, 5, 6 or 7 years. So for those with an interest, I think it's good to encourage us to go a bit deeper, to go a bit more profound, to study. And in that context, after next New Year, on the Monday, I thought to introduce, like a couple of week courses on those Monday classes that would let us go deeper. It's good to go more profound.
근데 규단 교도고요 같아. 무슨 뭐 가리나 교도고요 같아 시고래서.
Yeah, one needs to understand that all compound things are subject to change, and this we need to know.
가리도고요 같아 상당 그랬다.
And how is it that things are subject to change? How do they change?
저는 단다 modern physics, quantum physics 장애도 저 있는데 배야고요.
And those of you who study modern quantum physics, this is in line with that.
가서 그 뭐부 상관 직접 구조되지.天숙당 구식 랍되기도 와.
Yeah.
망바 다그란 식으로 뭐부터 있고 깨지 교도지 대열에서 라고요. 그래서 낭배 뭐인지 시기요. 그래서
The kind of how do you say, the particles that come together and go apart on the quantum physics level, and the Buddhist view of that type of change of compounds, it is reality. It is same.
저는 먼저 곰 잡성하던다 곰 잡 울러 장가 잡성하
Yeah.
네 곰던에 아니 곰야야야야야 또고 도모전에 시내에서 토야요래 시내에서니 톱스는 아니 수수 수불로 추다도 수수 수부 차 틱버지가 난게 제디게디 장가 잡도야게 셈나게 셔럽된 리기요다 디 모연이지 신용 거로 단단한지 신기면도 와 단단 먼저 차 난게 제 터모 파션 먼저 닝다 로 거이메 단다 이지 제듬지 하고 오면 돼 통으면 돼
The meditation we've been doing on the breathing, if we take that further and further and deeper, we can attain something called shamatha, single-pointed concentration. And when you cultivate such a concentration, you're able to count the number of particles in a small area of blood within the body. You have the wisdom to be able to do that directly. We might not even know, far from being told, where is the heart, where are the lungs.
먼저 디 modern 신의 시골 따고요.
Yes.
먼저 낭배 수수 시골도 wisdom 따고요.
Yeah, modern scientists would use a instrument to look in the body, but from the Buddhist perspective, we use the wisdom of mind to look in the body.
되잖아. 어디인데 그래서 다 ngoyni ju songang ngoyni ju 신고에 대 계속 못 차고 그래서
Yeah, and because these things are in line with reality, it's important to understand reality.
다 되네 들은 건다 아니 저는도 많이 먹고 콜라다 들은게 계속 셔다 만디과 르그 남주만 땡다 만디과 가르가르 쳇도 내가 논두 가르쳐도 쉐버셔 그래요. 이 인지민지 쉐버셔 그래서
And as one sleeps in the evening, it's good to reflect back where any mistakes made physically with body posture or mentally or at work. Just recognize that.
전에 막 다과치 피우케션 체로 장마스 근데 산이네가 디 지금에서 논리디 양자 지금에서 캘린 쇼거다 뭐지
And then recognizing if there were mistakes made during the course of the day to purify them and make the strong resolve not to recommit the next day. That's important.
다드네니 포지티브 소리 윤댕이 잘로 곰군론 제 밀레 펜도 제거든데나 디링에 펜도 디디디디 제비 근데 겨와 좀 오면은 제 산잉에 딜레 하가 지기 도스는다 니마지기 곰냠네 도스 땅고레스다
But on the positive side, if the day has gone well, if you've meditated, if you've helped others, did this and that and so forth, it's good to dedicate those good actions and resolve to do even better next day. That's very important, day in, day out.
다드네 디링은 디 오면은 체로 간저 겨 저런 네 기지시 아디 셰데 추기 짐바라니 있어봐 짐바 저런 짐바랑 그다 로망골로 좀 체신여디 저런 짐바다래서 봐 아디라 지 베샤라야 당 미망고라 근데 미유제 메스 미낭고서야게 미메 베샤라야게 신다 파션에 미지기 도지치 지나 야구시에서야게 러메서 봐 자자자 저런 펜스토로시나 삼바 군론 데메시지 매비 인자 개와 차대요 그래서 아니 그런 인게게 칼레 데스 도와서 봐 지금 딕데라 칼레 도와서 디 둥에 시티 당len 제버디게 디 개와 차온 거래서 먼저 개주게 다 유리알 렐하고 요 말에 신다진이 유라 트머드티 강리 요레스 저zo 강리 칼레 자버딜레 둥에 시티 데 동에 당len 게 서버서야 되게 지금 요레스 펜도지 요레스 제전 펜도 누버디게 수루루 쇠잖아 아주 뭐면은 야고 치기 예스로
It's good that we collect the virtues from this session. I have said a few words in line with Dharma. This is the giving, the generosity of giving the Dharma. I did not do it looking for money, nor to collect a lot of students. Certainly not to make all of us Buddhists, or even for you to come up and say, hey, great talk. The motivation was that I would help you in some way. And you yourself, your motivation has been to put up with difficulties, come here, maybe a little bit difficult with posture, not easy for the interpreter, he has to know another language, have to put up with these things and be patient. So all of those things we've put up with is virtuous. We gather that now.
아니 다 계제셔도 잠블링 찍고랑 시드 주나는 아주 미쳐다버들 시드 여러 잠블링 찍고랑 봐 시드 전 야고지 차도야 네 양고 다 계제셔도 당당하라서 다 지난도 강내 나도 망고 쉬죠로 중에 이제 여래 제대로 나 망고 쉬어제다 잠블링 나는 욕다 쉬어제도 와로 그래서 봐 쉬어 차도야 아니 하고도 가서 내ям데 저는 뉴도 봐 싫어야 다야데 야 파르게 소리 마차게 소리지 요도 사오래도 와 고쳐야 싫으면도 와 아니 하고도 다지 미카실라다 매 말아वे 강에 그들라 면줘라야 가실라니 칼라라게요 말에 다나 칼라라 가실라 둘로라게요 말에 가실라 강바요 말에 가실라다 딩선 레가 쇼 말에 가실라니야 도보 도모 말아वे 동에요 다 도즈 상호 강에 도즈 파상마 세제 상매기 되바디 최단 tum바시로 니주
Okay.
약보지다 tum바지 le 두버쇼 상매 만남자 직제로
Then we should dedicate and pray in the following way. If the world were at peace, because we're individuals that make up the world, we would be peaceful as well. So we pray for that. And then there are all these troubles in the world, diseases, shake-ups, difficult time. And, you know, of course, with the COVID thing, is it going to pervade everywhere? Is it not? All of these types of things. May that be removed. And, you know, there are people who don't have the medicine they need. May they find it. And those who don't have food, may they find food and clothing. And then the unemployment, may people find the jobs they need. But also importantly, there are those without friends, may they find friends. But what's important is that all of these things happen in line with the Dharma, in line with the spiritual path.
하고도 먼저 잠블링 나게 잠블링 투루 다니 되서 만샤다 political leader도 그래도
Yeah.
네 건조기라 닝지께나 야고도 왔다
Yeah.
닝지유나 네 잠블링 시도 주로 political leader도 열 닝지면나다
Sarva.
자사샤
Yeah, and then there are those leaders in the world, political leaders in the world, they have a tendency to shake up things. Well, it would be good if they themselves generated compassion in their hearts. So we dedicate to that as well.
다 맞던 뭐가셨던 저런저 드나시 샘팅네 mellan 잡쇼스로
Yeah, I will say a few verses, and from your depths of your hearts, please also dedicate likewise.
개와디 뉴드나 라마산제 도지제 도지자말레와 디살라고시 소남디 담제세고이 고마도시 진연다데네 가다나단 치베라도데 시베솔레도 도로쇼 최제제 오성과에 제제나마 배와나 이제마셔와나 등유만은서쇼 다단신제도 선단데베 선일라네 여와셔저도 예데마 예ren바ጆ제 다단신제도 선단데베 선일라네 여와라산타와 덴바 예ren바조제 찬제선저레 모제 마제바나제 유제 여와냠바메와냐 고네고네 배워라요 찬제오던 지제자와나 지제런 거지서이 여와주된다 예제도 단제도 배전주제 뭐 Thank you.